Hello, I'm Sarah Rochira and I'm the Older People's Commissioner for Wales, an independent voice and champion for our older people across our nation. Now, for many of us, time is the greatest enemy, me included. There just don't seem to be enough hours in the day. I can't be the only person who sometimes thinks to herself, if only I had a little more time. Well, the reality for our older people across Wales is that time is their enemy too, but for different reasons. Not because there isn't enough, but because there almost seems to be too much of it. The salutary reality is that 75% of our older people in Wales are lonely and isolated. Now, for those of us whose days are too busy, it's hard to imagine what it's like to be lonely and isolated, not just for a few hours, not just a few hours worth of peace and quiet, but to see no one, hear from no one, have no contact with anyone, to not do things that have value or matter to us, to not have anything to look forward to, not just for a day, but for a week, a month, year after year, for some for the rest of their lives. We know that over half of older people count their television as their main form of company. We know that over 8,000 older people spend Christmas alone every year within Wales. And we also know that the impact that this has, that this loneliness and isolation has upon their lives, is very high indeed. Loneliness and isolation has a huge impact on people's physical health and on their mental health as well. But perhaps above all, it pulls down people's overall sense of well-being, of their quality of life. And even worse, it can make people vulnerable. This is something that we must now fully recognise and address here in Wales. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to recognise this as a major public health issue within Wales. It is of epidemic proportions and it should be treated as such. I've visited many befriending services across Wales and I've seen for myself their impact and the difference that they make. But we also need to understand that we can all do something. We can all reach out. Because it can be a very hard thing to tell someone that you're lonely or that you're isolated. We need to reach out to people. You can all reach out individually and as a community. You can reach out to your neighbours, the people you pass on the streets. People who are lonely and isolated are more vulnerable, for example, to doorstep scams. And people who are lonely and isolated are more risk of falling, for example. Loneliness and isolation costs our public purse in Wales money that we don't have. But loneliness and isolation also means that we're excluding from the rest of us some fantastic people, our older people. Such knowledge, a wealth of experience, such fantastic lives. When older people are lonely and isolated, we lose out as well, because we lose out the opportunity to spend time with them. But a final thought about why we should all focus on loneliness and isolation more. Because one day, it could be us, when we find ourselves older, could be lonely and could be isolated, and we might then wish that we'd worked harder to reach out to our older people, to fully include them and make sure that nobody should spend Christmas alone, to make sure that nobody has nothing to look forward to, nothing to enjoy in their day. Everybody should have a right to be included, a right to participate. Our older people are a great asset, but together we can make a real difference. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.